Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everybody to the webinar. The title of this webinar is Increase Your Profits with Sage's Global E-Commerce and Supply Chain Platform, optimized for Sage 100, 300, and X3. In today's webinar, we will be talking specifically about a company named Ideal Security that has successfully enjoyed the benefits of the combined e-commerce and supply chain solution for Sage 300. Guest speakers, we have Jim McLean from XM Developments on the line, myself, Kelvin Takar from Edisoft, and in addition we have Moran Nataraj from Edisoft who will be performing the demo related to the supply chain portion of our webinar. Now, before we start the actual demo, we will be discussing some background information related to Ideal Security, and we will be covering the following agenda. We'll be talking about the respective companies, XM, Edisoft, Persisweaver, as well as NetStock and how we work together. We'll be discussing specifically the challenges that Ideal Security experienced and what challenges they faced and look towards Edisoft, XM, NetStock, and Persisweaver to solve. We'll be talking in detail about the end-to-end integration, and during the demo portion of this webinar we will be explicitly showing the end-to-end integration. In addition, we'll talk about Ideal Security and the results that they experienced, and then we will be doing the demonstration itself and describing specifically how the technology works. One of the things we do want to cover off initially at this point is how the group of ISVs are working together as connected partners. XM Developments provides a fully integrated B2B, B2C mobile sales e-commerce platform for Sage 100, Sage 300, and Sage X3. Edisoft delivers an end-to-end smart process supply chain software platform that is seamlessly integrated to Sage 100, 300, and X3 as well. Persisweaver offers a range of innovative multi-carrier, multimodal, multi-platform solutions to help solve complex logistics challenges. The Persisweaver platform is integrated as well to Sage 100, 300, and X3. And I'd like to point out at this time that NetStock is used primarily for reporting purposes. It is also branded as Sage Inventory Advisor. Now, some background on Ideal Security. The company that we're going to talk about and show in today's demo is a hardware importer and distributor. They established the business in 1956, so they have been basically active as a supplier to the retail market for many years. They're based out of Montreal, Canada. They do service the North American market. They have multiple warehouses, one in Prescott, Ontario, another in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They're a supplier to manufacturers, hardware distributors, and retailers, as well as online resellers. A couple things we're going to cover off is the types of challenges that were faced by Ideal Security. First of all, it's very important that they did have a customized legacy information system that was really central to their business, and it was very challenging for them to update and upgrade as they were working with that system based on changing market needs. The other challenge they had was they had to accommodate online customers who are growing in number and volume. As many of you know, there has been a trend to move away from bricks and mortar to more e-commerce online business. So they need to look at a way to support that growing segment of their business in a more efficient way. That also included the onboarding of EDI partners, which was becoming more challenging with their proprietary legacy system. They were eager to reduce the overhead costs, which is generally a significant challenge for most organizations these days. They also wanted to really reduce their warehouse costs and fundamentally the labor costs associated with picking, packing, and shipping. Finally, all of these efforts were really looking at a means to improve communication with customers and partners such as freight carriers and their own suppliers, which is really a discussion about how they needed to impact the total customer experience. Finally, I will look at the decision that came out of ongoing dialogue with Ideal. They made a decision to continue with Sage 300 as a result of the platform offered by XM, Edisoft, NetStock, and also Persisweaver. They invested in Merchant for Sage 300, which is our EDI engine. They invested in Quickpack for the warehouse using handheld scanners. They invested in Persisweaver for carrier management automation. They're using NetStock to really understand the nature of their inventory and stocking levels and managing that effectively. And most importantly of all, they're using XM Developments at the front end as their e-commerce platform to deal with challenges as their online business is growing and expanding. So at this point for the webinar, I'm going to turn this over to Jim McLean, who will be speaking on behalf of XM Developments, and we'll then pick up regarding Edisoft's offerings and go into the demo. So Jim, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Great, thank you, Calvin, and appreciate the opportunity to be with everyone today. So what we've done is, with our product from the ground up, we've built a fully integrated e-commerce platform for companies that run Sage 300, Sage X3, and we're in process of completing our Sage 100 implementation. What's unique about our approach is that inside our e-commerce platform, we've duplicated some of the key business logic and data that you would find inside of the respective Sage systems. So that includes the duplication of the pricing engine. So in Sage 300, as an example, I believe there's about 150 different ways that prices can be configured. We support them natively inside the e-commerce platforms. It's an ideal solution for B2B because we can handle different price lists, A, B, C, D, E pricing, contract pricing, sale pricing, multi-currency, change the catalog based on the customer's price list, that type of thing. The integration also allows for real-time inventory, real-time price changes, real-time shipping notifications, and real-time creation of transactions into Sage 300. And all of this is out-of-the-box standard functionality. What's equally important, though, in terms of the integration is the user experience. And this was really important to Ideal as well. They knew, and we know based on analytics, that the vast majority of buyers use a mobile device when they're looking for potential products to purchase. Whether that purchase transaction actually gets completed online may or may not happen, but they're certainly searching for information from their iPhones and iPads. So all of our sites are built using responsive web design, which is Google's preferred way to make a site mobile friendly. So we've built the Ideal website using that technology. Also search optimized and allows our customers to optimize merchandising as well. It's important not only to have a website, but you need to be found on the search engines, and when a customer is on the website, to provide powerful guided search capabilities, whether it's through the search box or parts finders or filtering of the catalog. Then from a performance standpoint, we deploy our sites on top of a cloud infrastructure built using Amazon Web Services. It's an environment that consists of a number of different clusters, so front-end web servers, Java servers, search servers, allowing us to support websites with in excess of 300,000 products and processing 4, 5, 6, 10,000 transactions per day. So very, very high performance infrastructure. Can you go to the next slide, Calvin? So in terms of ideal, and this is really true for most of our clients, what are the reasons they would choose our product over the numerous other kind of standalone shopping carts available? From a B2B standpoint, one of the biggest benefits is a dramatically lower cost to manage the online catalog. Because we're leveraging the Sage inventory, Sage pricing setup, we don't have to duplicate all of that work inside of the website. So if I've got 10,000, 20,000 items, the process of then managing my catalog is significantly easier and less expensive. On the inbound side, taking an order off of a website and having it automatically be posted into Sage 300 or Sage X3 order entry in real time, no rekeying of information. We actually, when we write transaction into the ERP, we run through the business logic and we rerun the pricing calculations just to make sure there's no discrepancy in terms of a price for an order for a customer, regardless of how that order comes into the Sage system. We also included with our product is a account portal, so providing customers full access to all orders. So orders that may have come in through the EDI service provided by Edisoft, those orders are visible on the website in real time. So heat orders, EDI orders, phone orders, web orders, open invoices, paid invoices, credit notes, all available to a customer or even a sales rep through the mobile sales aspect. And then finally, with all this integration, there's a massive reduction in the potential for data entry errors. So at the end of the day, it's a solution for Ideal that was less expensive to implement than alternatives, less expensive to manage than alternatives, and far less risk related to implementation and much faster implementation time. So back to you, Kelvin.
Thanks, Jim. I appreciate that. So at this point, we're going to talk about Edisoft's offering in terms of being a supply chain optimized solution for Sage. One of the things I'm going to point out is that we're seamlessly integrated. It's a seamlessly integrated software suite leveraging Edisoft's smart process application platform for Sage 100, 300, and X3. Much like what Jim has talked about, we look at the logic within any given ERP related to the customer profile setup and the functionality in that ERP to ensure any of the functions we support from an EDI order management standpoint or process and order fulfillment process are aligned. There's three principal areas in which we've optimized the supply chain platform. One is EDI, electronic data interchange, for both brick and mortar retailers, that's storefronts, and e-commerce retailers such as Amazon.com, Walmart.com, as well as many others that you've seen, Zappos and even Home Depot online. In addition, the platform includes a warehouse automation capability across multiple warehouses. There are options for bin routing, tracking, pick slips, radio frequency handheld barcode scanners, as well as using packing stations with tethered scanners. I should also point out that Edisoft is unique in the fact that we have the ability to support auto packing rules that are native to our application and design. In addition, the platform would support through a software connector Persisweaver for carrier management automation, which supports a single dashboard to manage small parcel and LTL carriers, support rate shopping, as well as freight analytics. Now, I mentioned earlier about smart process technology or the smart process application that Edisoft offers. It's specifically been designed to optimize and enhance the EDI order management process and the order fulfillment process, which is waiving, picking, packing, printing, and shipping. Now, it's important to understand that we're able to look at the ERP business rules, align them with the EDI specifications, and finally make sure that the rules that are being employed are taken into consideration not only for the ERP, but the EDI specifications, as well as the compliance for small parcel and LTL carriers. Edisoft is the only EDI warehouse solution provider that uses this type of smart process technology. In addition, we ensure end-to-end EDI and carrier compliance for all ERP orders and shipments. Most importantly of all, we eliminate both manual steps and data entry errors through the entire platform. What this results in is a significant cost savings that Ideal Security has been able to experience because we drive both the declining operational average cost curve as well as an EDI transaction cost curve that is declining for the environment as both sales orders and shipment volume grows. Now I'm going to cover a little bit of background on Persisweaver at this point. They themselves have a carrier management solution that's optimized for Sage. There's a couple of 4 key capabilities they provide. One is multi-carrier shipping integration via Quickpack, which is Edisoft's warehouse solution. They support that for Sage 100, 300, and X3. They will have the capacity to manage shipping execution regardless of where you ship to in the world. They currently support over 250 carriers worldwide, both small parcel and LTL. They extend the ability to rate, ship, and track to any of the Sage ERP applications that we've covered today. When you look at the key benefits, one significant asset they have brought to Ideal and many other customers is the consolidation of small parcel and LTL carriers through a single web-based portal software. They do have add-ons for rate shopping, freight analytics, much more. It's a more robust, comprehensive carrier management platform. They currently support over 250 carriers anywhere in the world. Basically, there's improved customer service through 24/7 access. Their solution is web-based. The other thing I would mention is that it's been specifically designed to eliminate data entry errors. Now, in advance of moving forward with the demo, we are going to talk about the solution architecture in place with Ideal. As we've discussed, basically at this point, the XM Development web store is providing and posting orders to Sage 300 at Ideal. But as you can see on the left-hand side, materially, any mechanism to get an order in Sage 300, including EDI, CRM, point of sale, even manual entry, we have the ability with our supply chain platform to pull out any order that is posted to order entry. Subsequently, understanding that we're really looking at the business rules in the application, we manage the order management process to ensure on the EDI side, when that order is posted to Sage 300, that the process is simple in terms of managing the incoming EDI order, and that when it's posted, all the data that's necessary for that order shows up in the order entry module of Sage 300. In addition, once the order is in the order entry module Sage 300, our product, which is called Quickpack for warehouse and shipping, will basically pick that order up, go through a waiving process, which we'll be able to show you today in today's demo, go through the picking and packing using a handheld device. Subsequently, that information that is basically passed to the carrier will include customer information, packing profile. So accordingly, we're able to gather detail related to the shipping fees, freight costs, pro number, bring that detail back into Sage as part of the process of updating the complete order and ensuring it's invoiced, and correspondingly an ideal situation, because they're using our EDI product, generate an 810, which is an EDI document for invoicing. So at this point, I'm going to cover off what those key benefits were for Ideal using the platform that we've discussed today. And on one level, what Ideal was able to experience was a significant level of automation. So they had EDI web order automation through XM and Edisoft's merchant product that handles the EDI. They were able to eliminate rekeying of data throughout that process on the order management side. They were able to eliminate rekeying throughout the warehouse and shipping side. They had a higher level of automation using handheld barcode readers to scan items. There wasn't a lot of handling of additional paperwork and documentation. We streamlined that process to reduce the number of manual steps. And then there was, by virtue of being integrated to the shipping platform, capacity for them to automate the tracking of their shipments. So what did that do for Ideal in the end? Very important considerations. The level of paper documentation that Ideal was using previously was reduced by 80%. Shortages and overages of shipments was reduced by 75%. When we look at productivity gains, we see that they had a better comprehensive understanding of their business processes from beginning to end related to the e-commerce order management, all the way to the end of the line in shipping those products. They were able to evaluate the time and effort required company-wide from the moment an order was received all the way to the point that a good was shipped. They saw significant increases in productivity, which translates into reduced labor costs. So one of the components they were able to identify and quantify is that full-time equivalency costs in their organization dropped by 50% as a result of greater efficiencies on how they were handling orders and shipments. Subsequently, having automation, productivity are very important pillars of a successful solution, but also the ability to then get access to relevant information related to those processes is another advantage of the combined platform. So from a reporting standpoint, Ideal was able to get better accuracy on daily sales information. They were able to deal with exception reporting more effectively related to orders and shipments. They were able to identify an accurate understanding of their cost per order, including freight, that directly impacted their prior understanding of their contribution margin by customer. So effectively, that visibility and the access to information generated a whole other benefit around reporting, whereby they were able to make better business decisions. So these are actual comments from Ideal. The president there indicated there were a number of pleasant surprises they weren't expecting. Dramatic improvement in shipping accuracy. That was something that they saw directly impacted the experience of their customers. They were significantly happy about the fact that their customers could see that the timing of the shipments had improved, and they were getting that type of feedback from their customers. Second pleasant surprise was when he saw the amount of paperwork being eliminated. There was less filing, more office space, things he didn't see that would happen as a result of bringing in the platform. He saw additional cost savings and additional benefits that weren't anticipated. The other consideration here is, although Ideal did not invest in a warehouse management system, they realized they had much better inventory control. And as a result of the combined capabilities of the platform, could do easier inventory cycle counts than they expected. And that was a great, well, it was a significant benefit for Ideal. So a couple things that they saw now is that with this platform, they had a way to manage updates and upgrades as an extension of Sage 300. So over the total life cycle of managing their ERP, they had a better capacity for cost control and reliability than they did with their former system. Rolling out new EDI partners, rolling out new e-commerce partners was happening more efficiently and effectively than with the prior system. The EDI challenges were administered easily. The office workload was reduced. They're seeing that continuing to reap benefits. The labor cost decreased by more than 50%. They were able to redeploy staff in the warehouse for other activities that were revenue generating. And equally important is that they saw that the infrastructure they had invested in was actually paying dividends as a result of bringing in better applications. So a couple of things that are very important before we go into the demo that go beyond just simply identifying the right technology for a client. Certain things that Ideal shared with us that are very meaningful. They saw planning was absolutely necessary to roll out this type of platform. Warehouse layout for them was a very key consideration. System implementation takes longer than anticipated, require more involvement from the end user. Training is always a challenge, making sure that the skill level of the people working on the system is appropriate. And basically, as far as Ideal has looked at this total solution, they've been very happy with it, and they see it as a solid investment on their part, and they're very well positioned for their future needs. The one last comment I'm going to make before we move towards the demo process is one of the important considerations here is that early on, before Joe was completely committed to this platform, he had some questions as to what the company would benefit from automation. And I'm pleased to say that now his recommendation to any company that he gets involved with is to highly suggest they do everything possible to automate their environment. So he's a big believer in the concept that automation pays. So at this stage, what we're going to do is we're going to move towards the demo process. And what I'm going to propose, I'm going to turn this over to Jim at XM. Jim is going to initially start the demo process off, and then we'll go through basically the current configuration that is in use at Ideal Security to show you firsthand the functionality in the software and the benefits that we've talked about for the last 20 to 30 minutes. So Jim, if you're good to go with the e-commerce site, we'll turn it.
Great. Thanks. Thank you, Kelvin. Kelvin, just confirm you can see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So just before I kind of go into my demo site that's connected into a Sage 300 system that's being managed by Edisoft, just thought I'd show you the Ideal website. So this is actually a fully responsive website. They use out-of-the-box capabilities for all the function. We didn't do any customizations for them. But using some of the tools, they did some interesting things. I thought I'd just show you one in particular that I think is quite powerful. So if I go into their garage doors, one of the challenges is if I got a problem with my door and a particular part is broken, it's what is it called, what's the item number. So using this visual representation here, I can see what particular SKU is broken or need to replace, and then quickly go down and purchase the right product. So from a customer standpoint, just one example of the ability to provide customers with a visual guided search in this case. So I'm going to flip over to This is a site that we actually built for this demonstration in the last day or so, and again utilizing some just standard functionality. So this site connected real-time into Sage 300, and we'll just go into the product catalog here down to lighting, and I'll just bring up a product, just talk a little bit about it. So when we do the integration with Sage, we pull item number, item description, stock information, price information directly from Sage 300 and display it on the website. We can show from a stock standpoint right down to every warehouse this item might be in, and what's on purchase order, what's on sales order, that type of thing. With production sites, such as on the Ideal site, we can add related items, multiple images per item, additional product content. But for the purpose of today, we wanted just to show you the simple process of taking a transaction off the website and pushing it into Sage 300. So we'll simply add to cart. So we get a notification message we have this item in the shopping cart. Go to my cart page, and here I can maybe go back and do some more shopping, create a saved shopping cart, create a quote, or I can just go through the checkout process. Because I've logged in, I'm pulling up Ron Black's account information from Sage 300, I'm pulling up multiple warehouses from Sage 300. I have the ability, if I want, to create a new address and push it into Sage 300 when I complete this order transaction. Go through the shipping process. So here we've got integration to UPS, FedEx, USPS, LTL carriers as well, so we can do some estimates of what I want to charge a customer to ship product from point A to point B. Go through payment options. Most common in North America, on account or credit card, and I can control what user has access to what payment methods. And down here I can do order header comments, I can do purchase order numbers, look at the order, and make sure this is what I want to purchase, and we'll push this order into Sage 300. And I'll just talk a little bit about the process that happens to get the order into Sage, and then I'm going to pass it back to the team at Edisoft. So the first thing that happens is we complete the order and we send a real-time email notification to the customer, perhaps the sales rep for this customer, and perhaps one or more individuals within the merchant organization. Then the order itself will go into an order queue to the back end of our website. I'll just quickly show the queue here. So it goes into, let's see if it's still in the queue. So this order in a few seconds is going to be pushed into Sage 300. And the reason it goes into a queue is just in case the order can't go into Sage because maybe there's a lack of an internet connection, or Sage throws an error on order posting. We want to be able to make sure that we don't lose any transactions, we can deal with it, and then push the transactions into Sage 300. What we also get, and I'm not going to go through the whole control panel for today, but I just show you one thing related to orders which ties into integration, because Kelvin talked about the variety of ways that Ideal can bring orders into their Sage system. In the back end of their website, they'll be able to see every single order transaction as it appears in order entry from the back end of the website. They can also see all shipment documents, all invoice documents. And this speaks to the power of the integration between the website, Sage 300 or Sage X3, and the Edisoft platform as well. So I'm gonna pass it back to Moran at Edisoft, and he's going to walk you through the process of what happens now that these transactions have been pushed into Sage 300.
Thank you, Jim. So before we jump into our solution here, we're going to pull up our ERP here, which we're demonstrating Sage 300 ERP as it's been deployed at Ideal Security. So we're going to pull up this order here, and there is the order that Jim just placed on the web store. It's come in as order number W7 here, and it's populated with PO number and things like the expected ship date and the carrier as configured on the customer profile or the ship to profile. And at this point, as soon as the order is posted into Sage 300, Quickpack is able to download these orders as pick orders for the warehouse to fulfill. Now, Quickpack does check. It does check that the order is not on hold. So if the hold flag is turned on, it will not download the order and process it through to the warehouse. And secondly, if there is no quantities on the order, let's say it was an order that's put in but has 0 quantities or it's been processed already, it will not download that pick order for the warehouse as well. So here I'm going to navigate to our Quickpack application. This application would be deployed out in the warehouse as it is in Ideal Security's case. In terms of Ideal Security, they do have 3 locations. They have their main office in Montreal, and then they have a warehouse in Ontario as well as a warehouse in Pennsylvania. And so based on the warehouse filtering, Quickpack is splitting the order out to the respective warehouses. So as you can see here in this case, this order that came in from the web store, order number 7, is shipping from location 1. So any orders that are shipping from location 2, such as the location 2 in Ideal Security's case would be, for example, Pennsylvania. So any of their customers that they're fulfilling in the U.S. would be fulfilled out of location 2, and those customers' orders would be displayed only for the user that has access to location 2. So each, with credentials set up within Quickpack, each user has a role. There's a warehouse user role, there's a warehouse manager role, and then there's an administrative role. So the warehouse user and warehouse managers are assigned to specific warehouses, and orders that are supposed to be fulfilled from their warehouse, when they log in, they'll be able to see those orders on the screen. So in this demonstration today, we are going to be showing you how Ideal Security uses our solution using the desktop as well as the mobile scan and pack interface. So we won't be demonstrating the actual handheld scanner, but we'll show you the scan and pack module and what it does during the picking and packing process. So here we have our customer, 1200, which is from Black. If we double click on the order, we see the details of the pick order. So you'll see here, you'll notice that we don't have all of the financial data that's in the ERP. When you're talking about warehouse fulfillment, the warehouse team does not need to know pricing details and things of that nature. They just need to know what the item is, quantity that's been ordered, and where it's shipping to and when it needs to be shipped by. So you can see here we have our item number, description, quantity, unit of measure, as well as the ERP sales order number, PO number, and then the ship to destination that Jim had selected on those web start. Okay. So the first stage is now waiving these orders. So these orders are downloaded on a 3-minute cycle, very similar to how XM has its queue process. We do not constantly pull Sage 300 every second. It's every 3 minutes at a minimum. This is to improve our performance as well as having control over the order cycle process. So the agent will automatically pull the order, and at this point, a warehouse manager or warehouse supervisor would look at waiving these orders and moving them to the handheld scanner. So at this point, warehouse manager at Ideal Security at the respective locations would go in here and hit create. And what that is going to do is it's going to create a Quickpack shipment code. This is not a Sage 300 shipment code, but it's a unique code within Quickpack itself that is able to control consolidation of orders as well as based on customer ID. So what this does is this Quickpack system will allow users to consolidate orders if they're shipping to the same destination on the same date, whereas if you're familiar with Sage 300, it's a single shipment for every order. There's no consolidation factor that way. So once the order is in current, we are able to now pull this up on a handheld scanner. So typically what a warehouse picker would do is now they would open up their, in Ideal Security's case, they have Motorola MC55 units. They would log in and open up the web interface to connect to the scan and pack interface. For this demonstration, we're going to show you on the screen. So on their handheld, they would see this 4x6 interface that will display the pick order details. So the sales order number in this case for Sage 300. Sorry, wrong order. Okay. So the sales order number in Sage 300 as well as the item that's been ordered. So in addition to that, we do have integration to bin tracking, which is an additional module for Sage 300, as well as the pick sequencing within Sage 300, which is native. In Ideal Security's case, we do integrate to the ORCID bin tracking module, and we are updating ORCID accordingly as they're picking the items. One other thing you notice here is that the order number now is highlighted red. So when Jim put his order into the web store, he did make a comment that he wanted this order rushed. So that comment now heads down to the picker, and they're able to see that this order needs to be picked and processed in a rush. In addition to order comments, we do have item instructions also that can be displayed, and respectively they would be highlighted red as well, and then the user that's picking the item can select the item, and it will show the respective instructions. So in this scenario here, the system is telling us to go to bin 46. So what that means is the way the mobile scan and pack interface will display the order and sort the items is based on bin sequences. So that is routing within your warehouse. So you don't want a warehouse picker to go back and forth in a lane. You want them to go in a specific motion so that they don't have that back and forth motion. So they're going straight down a line, picking all the items they need, and then they're able to package it into a box or on a pallet and send it off. So you want to bring that efficiency in the warehouse. You want them to be able to route in the warehouse. In this case, we do it based on bin sequence or the pick sequence field within Sage 300. So here I'm going to click on default, and what default does is it will, for each customer, you can assign a default container type. So container types are configured within Quickpack based on dimensions and empty container weights. So these containers can be cartons, they can be boxes, pallets, and with this system we can also capture items in boxes or cartons and cartons on pallets. So one requirement from Ideal Security was is EDI, and EDI, if you don't know, does require, in most cases, an ASN document or advanced ship notice. In order to build that document, you have to build a physical or electronic packing structure, and of course, in the shipping world, you do have the capability for multi-level container structures. So what that Quickpack enables you to do is build that multi-level container packing structure using the mobile scan pack interface. So for this demo, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to pack it into a box because it is a drop ship order, and it's a single piece that's going into the box itself. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan the item number. Use this order here. Okay, so what the system does is, as you're picking the item, it will check that you're scanning the correct barcode. So if you have items that are very similar in color or sizes or dimensions, and your pickers are constantly picking the wrong item, this system will prevent them from picking the wrong item, and also prevent them from over picking as well. So it won't let you overpack a shipment. And as you can see here, in a typical sort sequence, you'll have A1103, A1105, and A1310. But in this case, because A1310 is sorted prior to A1105, it is sorting the pick list out that way as well. So it's sorting it as A1103, A1310, and then A1105. So at this point, all items have been packed into the containers. So you can see the items have turned gray. That means all your items have been picked and packed into the container. One thing I didn't show you guys here is this system will let you short ship and back order shipments if you don't have sufficient inventory. And when it updates Stage 300, it will update Stage 300 with that back order. And based on the configurable options, you can put that order on hold, so it has to be released by a user, or that you can have it automatically download back in as a new pick order with the back order amount, and then fulfill it when there's inventory available. When we click on more here, we do have the ability to switch to other shipments. So as if you can remember, we are on a handheld scanner. So on the handheld scanner, the picker will just move on to the next shipment. They don't need to go through the waiting stage because the warehouse supervisor will be doing that. So they can click on all shipments, and it will show them the next shipment that's available, and they can jump to it. In addition to that, they can print out labels. So they can print out UCC 128 shipping compliant labels, as well as generic labels that are designed for specific customers. So in Ideal Security's case, for example, they do have pallet labels for all their pallets. It's just a generic label that goes on a 4x6 sheet, and it identifies who the customer is, PO number, ship to and ship from destination, and that goes on every pallet. And if they need 4 copies for the 4 sides of the pallet, they'll be able to print that with the system, and it will print out 4 copies for them. In addition to that, Ideal Security also does use the printing of the packing list functionality for their DBS orders. So these are the .coms, such as Walmart.com and HomeDepot.com. And this system also has the ability to tailor your own packing slip with your own company's logo on it, and have that printed out during the pack process. So in this stage, we're going to complete the shipment and move it on. I'm going to quickly pack this shipment as well. That was done for the web server. So at this point, we now have 2 shipments that are packed. They're ready. They should be at the shipping lane now. And the next stage is shipping it with the carrier management software. So in this case, we are using Persisweaver, and that is what Ideal Security is using. And they have the map deployed at both shipping sites. They're both warehouses. So what they do here is they would select Persisweaver, and it will send the shipment out to Persisweaver to be processed. So now at a shipping lane, a warehouse user or a person that's responsible for the shipping process would pull up the shipment using the web interface from Xcarrier. And here it's going to pull up the address, the ship to address. It's going to have the ship from location based on the address that's configured for the warehouse. And if there is a carrier code on the shipment or on the order stage, it will pass that carrier code down and reference it to the shipping method, in this case FedEx, and the service level, which is FedEx Ground. In addition to that, it will automatically populate the payment type as well as the account number. So it does support recipient, third-party, collect. So when we're dealing with, for example, Ideal Security does have EDI trading partners that do have their own shipping accounts. So we've set up third-party billing, and based on the customer number, the system knows to use third-party billing versus using Ideal Security's account number. In addition to that, it has estimated, Quickpack has estimated the weight and sent it down to Persisweaver, as well as it's captured the dimensions of the box based on the configured box within Quickpack. What Ideal Security does do is they put these boxes on a scale, and they hit get scale weight to get the actual weight from the box itself. Once this is complete, they click on Plan Shipment, and now it's going to tender with the carrier, and it's going to validate the account number that's going out. It's going to validate the zip code and the state, and if there are no errors, it will return us a live tracking number from the carrier. So in this case, FedEx has sent back this carrier code, this tracking number, and it also has provided the label. So with Ideal Security's case, these labels will automatically print out as soon as the tracking number comes back in. And once they've completed this, they move on to the next available shipment, and they process that shipment through as well. So again, within 3 minutes, the system will update Quickpack with the tracking number. So if we click on, double-click on the shipment here, we see that the tracking number has been updated. And if you did have multiple containers, each of the containers would have their own tracking numbers here as well. So in case you didn't know, in the EDI world, if you are dealing with dropship vendors like Walmart.com and HomeDepot.com, they do require each container's tracking number. So if you're shipping multiple containers, each one of those containers will have a tracking number associated with them, and on the ASN document, we do transmit that tracking number. Just to show you some of the label types that we can print out a Quickpack, this is an example of a Walmart dropship label, as well as the ability to print packing slips. See there, and the DivX bill lading document. At this point, we can ship out the shipment. Now, what we do have is compliance validation process when we actually hit the ship button. So if a tracking number is not populated, it will complain that the tracking number is not populated. We can make that a warning. We can also make that mandatory. In Ideal Security's case, they've made it mandatory for every single customer that the tracking number be required to be populated. This is one way for them to check that the shipment's been processed through Xcarrier. Now, along the way, which you haven't seen here, is Quickpack is constantly checking for updates in Stage 300. So if an order has been changed in Stage 300, so let's say the order entry team goes and changes the quantity of an item on an order, or they deleted an item on an order, Quickpack will in real time update the warehouse staff with a warning that tells them that there's been changes to the order, and it will force regular users to make that to complete that change, and at that point, real time you have updates from Sage 300 to Quickpack itself. So at this point, we are going to use the Sage 300 API to update Sage and create the shipment. And in this example, we're also creating the invoice as well. Again, that's within a 3-minute window. At this point, I'll pass it over to Kelvin while it's updating Sage.
Okay, at this stage, what we can do is take questions. If there are individuals that would like to pose their questions, we can open that up. There's certainly a chat screen where you're able to type in your questions and we can provide some answers. I recognize that we're running a little bit over. We've got about 3 or 4 minutes before it's 3 p.m. But if a number of you are prepared to hold on for an additional 5 or 10 minutes, we can take some questions, probably provide some greater insight to what you've seen today, and certainly welcome any particular questions that attendees will have at this time. So I did receive a question by email that I certainly can share with everybody that came from one of the attendees. They were asking about how Quickpack is actually retrieving orders from Sage order entry. Moran had stated earlier that the process was using what we term Quickpack Server Agent. That is a software component that comes bundled with Quickpack. And the Quickpack agent basically polls order entry. And it's probably very important to point out that when it's polling order entry, Quickpack is basically pulling in all the sales orders and order entry, regardless of how they were entered into Sage. So maybe it's a point that I should emphasize at this point, that whether the order is actually processed by XM Developments and posted to order entry, or whether it is actually posted by merchant, or it comes in through Sage CRM, it doesn't matter to Quickpack. In other words, all orders are treated the same way once they're an order entry, regardless of where they arrived from. So looking at this entire platform, it's probably important to point out that Quickpack can do 2 very important things. One, it creates a standard workflow process for picking, packing, printing, and shipping. Secondly, it does that for all orders and sale and order entry. And the second thing it does that is not so apparent for a customer that does need EDI and does have an ASN requirement and does need to support GS1 UCC 128 labels. Quickpack does populate the ASN according to the ASN structure required. And secondly, in the print engine, it does have the ability to print GS1 UCC 128 labels. So I should emphasize that point as well.
We have 2 very similar questions. It's about how Quickpack handles the warehouse filtering capability that is offered. So Quickpack has multiple layers of warehouse filtering capability. So one way it filters is based on the order level or order header level warehouse ship from location within Sage 300. So that is done through this field right here. However, because Sage 300 also has something called item level location filter, so for every SKU on that order, it can have a different ship from location Quickpack also has another layer that looks at the item's location as well. And what it will do is if there are items on a single order that are shipping from multiple destinations, it will split it into multiple pick orders in Quickpack. So if there's orders for location 1 and orders for, if there's items for location 1 and items for location 2, it will create 2 unique pick orders within Quickpack, and the respective warehouse users and warehouse managers will only be able to see the items they need to fulfill from their specific warehouse. So here we demonstrated our web store integration integration. However, the Quickpack platform can be used for any order type. So as identified within EDI, we can support cross-dock order types, direct to warehouse DC, direct store, and in this example, DBS order types or direct vendorship order types. So as you can see, it doesn't matter how the order gets into Sage 300, as long as it's an ordered entry and it's an active order, and that's not on hold, Quickpack will be able to download that as pick orders for the warehouse.
Now, the last comment I'll make at this point is the enhanced functionality that we've shown you today on the supply chain side would change based on the underlying ERP, whether it's Sage 100, 300, or X3. For the sake of keeping the discussion simpler today, we've done a demonstration of 300, but the enhancements we're talking about would be equally applicable to 100 and X3. Just the business, how the business rules are employed and what feature set exists in the underlying ERPs would differ. So at this point, we've run about 5 minutes over our allotted time. I certainly welcome the opportunity. I don't know, Jim, if there's anything you would like to maybe raise at this juncture before we plan for wrapping up.
No, I just want to thank everyone for attending, and similar to the sales email at Edisoft, any questions can also be sent to sales@xmdevelopments.com as well, and would welcome any questions or feedback that anyone might have. So thank you.
So at this point, we'll end the webinar. Certainly, again, I want to thank everyone for attending. Certainly, Jim, myself are available for any questions, and look forward to continuing discussions with many of you into the future. Thank you so much for attending our webinar.
Thanks, Calvin.
Thank you. Have a good day.